to discuss the international response to what's happening in Morocco. I'm very pleased to be joined now on the line by Tommaso Della Longa from the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Welcome to the programme, sir, and thanks for finding the time to talk to us today.
Thank you very much for
First of
inviting.
all, are your teams on the ground in Morocco right now? And if so, where are they able to reach?
Well, typically we work through our Red Cross and Crescent National Society in every natural disaster in the world. So in this case, our teams of the Morocco Red Crescent responded immediately after the earthquake. And now, of course, after the first 72, 96 hours, where the priority is search and rescue operation and life-saving activities like first aid and so on, we are conducting together with them an assessment to plan next steps.
And as you suggest, timing then absolutely crucial in emergencies like this, when the focus is still on rescuing people trapped under the rubble rather than the recovery of bodies. But the clock is ticking now. It's been 3 days since the earthquake. So give us a sense of how important the next 24 hours are.
Well, of course, they are critical. We heard also in other disasters, we know it by experience that people can survive also for more than 4 days, but then they are like inspiring stories, but there are a few. The very important time is the first 3-4 days after the earthquake. We know that search and rescue teams and search and rescue efforts are really, around the clock in Morocco. And at the moment, it's from one side really saving lives, so search and rescue operation, but also on the other side, keep safe the survivors, because you need to transport injured to hospitals, but also make sure that people are not staying nearby damaged building or in a situation that can be dangerous for themselves.
And as you may have seen in that report we played a moment ago, we do have a team on the ground in Marrakech right now, but it does seem really hard to get a sense of how bad the situation is in more remote areas in the Atlas Mountains. What's your understanding of how great the need is there at the moment?
Well, as we heard from our colleagues, of course, there are rural areas, mountainous villages where the access is very difficult in terms of infrastructure, in terms of roadblocks. So, of course, they are also a top priority for us and for the entire emergency response system of Morocco. Unfortunately, and again, we saw it in other disasters, in the first week, I would say, we will have a clearer picture on the needs and unfortunately also of casualties and injured people.
You may well have seen that the Moroccan government has accepted aid now from 4 countries for the moment, but only 4. It says it isn't accepting more because if aid is not well coordinated, it could actually be counterproductive to the response. I wonder if you recognise that concern from the Moroccan government, if you think that concern is reasonable.
Well, what we can say is that coordination is critical in every emergency response. It's really what it needs to be avoided immediately in the first moments, but also in the weeks and months to come is overlapping and people that are not really bringing what is needed in the ground. And then also to help the local communities and the local economies in procuring items directly from inside Morocco. So, of course, the coordination, it's a valid point. Then I would say that in front of such a large-scale disaster, also help it's welcome and people needs to get this help. So I mean, in our case, we work through our Morocco Red Cross colleagues, and we think that in the next days we will also scale up our operation.
And beyond the immediate needs right now to rescue people who are trapped, clearly in the days ahead, attention will start to turn to trying to house many of those tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people who've been displaced in Morocco. What's your understanding as to how great the need is on that front?
The need is huge. And thanks actually for the question. I think that is really a critical point because, of course, now there is the media attention. There is a great wave of international solidarity. But then, unfortunately, this emergency response will be a marathon and not a sprint. And the Moroccan people will need help not just for the few first days and weeks, but for months to come, and in some cases for probably years. So it's really critical to find a long-lasting and sustainable solution and help and solidarity for the Moroccan people affected by this such violent and large-scale disaster.
And just a final question on that point. For viewers who may be listening now who do want to try to help, what would you say to them?
We are always saying that support through cash is the most effective one. We see in many different occasions that people want to donate food or want to donate clothes. Of course, the solidarity is great, but it's not so efficient. In this moment, the most important part is to donate. I mean, we have, of course, our IFRC donation online, but also several different Red Cross and Crescent National Society launched their own emergency appeal at national level. And then we'll make sure that this money will reach the Moroccan Red Crescent colleagues, so then the people affected by the earthquake.
Tommaso Della Longa from the International Federation of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent Societies. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.